So, hi all, good morning. I hope everyone is getting my voice and as well as my screen.
Yes, sure, very good.
So, last class just we are discussing about this DNS zones and as well as this different types of load balancers, right? Namely, nothing but basic load balancer and standard load balancer as well. And if you are going with some DNS zones, so nothing but if you are typing some IP address, so if you want to redirect to some website, so then we need to go for a service called as an DNS zones. So that is within the Azure cloud account, right? And then we discussed about load balancers. So within this load balancer, we're having some basic load balancer and as well as a standard load balancer, right? So now if you go with some basic load balancer, the difference is basically same available to set in the same ritual network, and if you go with the standard load balancer, different available to set within the same ritual network. That is a one more thing. And then we discussed about, practically we have implemented the same, whether it is basic and standard load balancer as well, right? And then we discussed about if you observe in this load balancers, whether it is a standard or a basic, we're having a main option is basically we're having some backend pools. So where within this backend pools option, we are going to add some Linux machines. What are the Linux machines which are created basically, right? That is a one more thing. But if you are going with some standard load balancer, we are unable to add what are the Linux machines which you have created. Okay, so in order to get the virtual machines or in order to available the respective virtual machines within this backend pools, right? What we need to do? So we need to go to the respective virtual machines and we need to go for networking options. So where you need to disassociate the respective IP address of the virtual machines. That is the one more thing which we need to do basically. So then only what are the virtual machines which are created in standard load balancer. So this will be available to the uh, backend pools of the respective load balancer. Okay, these things. So basically these things we discussed and these things we have implemented practically on yesterday, right? So any doubts, any of you basically, what are the concepts which are discussed on yesterday? So I hope all of you got the respective recordings. Whoever requested the access, I have given the same. So anybody did not get the access or something like that, fine, all of you.
Yes, sure. I'm fine.
Okay. So today we are going to discuss about. So it is also one more type of load balancer basically. Okay. So that is traffic manager. So in load balancers, we had seen traffic may go to Linux machine 1 or Linux machine 2, right? So these things we discussed on yesterday. But here we can distribute the traffic between virtual machines based on performance, number of visitors to a particular site, weighted and subnet. So here basically uh, how this traffic is going to distribute between the n number of virtual machines in this traffic manager is. So one way is it can be based on the performance of number of visitors to a particular site. So this thing you know already. And here two more things it is added. One is weighted and one more thing is subnet. Okay. So where we're going to get this weighted or weighted is nothing but it is having some value. So once if you provided some value, right? So based upon that respective value, it will navigate to the respective region of that respective specific virtual machine. So this weighted, so we will want to discuss practical. So then you're going to get some idea. Okay, how the traffic is distributed based upon the weighted value. So it can be a maybe a virtual network of different regions as well. We are going to achieve the same in practical case. Okay, there you are going to get some idea about weighted value. Okay, so using traffic manager we can implement HTTPS and also we can distribute the traffic from one region to another region also. So yesterday, if you observe, basically we have created some resource group, right? And then if you want, you can implement some DNS zones as well, right? So then we have created some virtual network, and then we have created some virtual machines. So within this virtual machines, even we have included the availability set as well, and then finally we have created the load balancer. So whether it is a basic load balancer or standard load balancer. Okay. So here traffic manager. So here, if you want, you can implement this DNS as well. DNS zones. So DNS zones. So once we created some DNS zones, right? So basically, you're going to get some name servers. So what are the name servers which are getting in this DNS zones of the Azure Cloud account? The same name servers we need to update in GoDaddy account as well, right? east-blb west-blb. Nothing but a basic load balancer. So this is hyphen or underscore something vnet. This is s underscore vnet. So east Linux machine, west Linux machine. Okay, so these things may have been basically. So just I'm logging into portal.azure.com. Just provide the password. So just try to create. Okay, so anyway, first of all we require some resource group. Okay, so after that if you want we can create some DNS zones. So we need to create some virtual network. Okay, so virtual machines. So these things is common basically. Okay, so first of all create resource group. So Azure test, next tags, next event create, finally click on create. So here if you want we can create some DNS zones. So currently I'm not creating. So otherwise let us create. So select the resource group, what are the resource group which are created. So our website name is, click on next tags, next you can create, finally click on create. Go to GoDaddy as well. So once if this uh, once if this DNS zones is created, right? So go to this respective DNS zones. Same name servers, right? Here, if you observe, we're having some 05 on yesterday as well. Today also we're having some 05. So if you're having some the same name servers, so we no need to update in the GoDaddy account. So if you observe on yesterday, I mean, if you observe my GoDaddy account on yesterday, the same name servers with the same names, it is already available within this GoDaddy account of me. So that is the reason I no need to update this name servers. So if it is somewhat maybe some 07 instead of 05, so then compulsory I need to update within this GoDaddy account. Okay, currently it doesn't require this. So then you can create some virtual network. Just click on create. Select the resource group. So here just I'm taking some east underscore VNet. So you can go with some STS. After that, 10.11.0.0/16. So I do test underscore some subnet. Otherwise, we can provide it is we are creating with east underscore hyphen VNet, right? So east underscore subnet custom. Click on add. Next security, next tags, next you can create. Finally click on create. So it is created, right? So let us try to create one more virtual network with the name as west underscore VNet. So select the resource group, that is nothing but Azure test. So this is west underscore VNet. So reason you can go with some west views. Give me 1 minute. Yesterday I got email from Microsoft. So next IP address. So here you can give some 10.12.0.0/16. Add subnet. Okay, so west underscore maybe some subnet 10.12.1.0/24. So next security, next tags, next event create. Finally click on create. So here we have created, if you observe, two virtual networks of different locations. So one is east US and one more thing is west US, right? So now try to create some virtual machines. So one is pointing to east underscore hyphen vnet, and one more thing is west underscore hyphen vnet here. Okay, so just I'm trying to create some virtual machines with the names as a one is east underscore Linux machine, and one more thing is west underscore Linux machine. So here east underscore underscore is not allowing hyphen. So reason is east here only, right? So go with Linux, provide the username and password. Next disks, go with standard SSD. Next network. So here east underscore vnet virtual network and the respective subnet, right? Next management, click on disable. Next advanced, next tags, next event create. Finally, click on create. So meanwhile, we will try to create a one more virtual machine because here if you observe, we have created two different virtual networks, right? So it is not depend upon the east Linux machine or east underscore vnet. So just try to go to virtual machines, click on create. So resource group is Azure test virtual machine. So this is west hyphen Linux machine. Here I'm going with some west US. So go with passport. So click on none. Next disks. Go with standard SSD. Next networking. So west underscore vnet and west underscore subnet. Next management. Click on disable. Next advanced. Next tags. Next review and create. Finally click on create. So if you go to this East Linux Mission 1, so just update this inbound port rule or security rule. Add inbound port rule. Click on add. So still it is creating list. access these virtual machines, uh, go to public address and go to putty, paste it here, click on open, click on asset, provide the respective username password, so that is your one. Okay, so go to root user and try to install some Nginx server, that is sudo apt update apt install Nginx, right? So then if you want to edit this h1 tag, right? Yesterday we have having some predefined command. So once if you apply this respective command, you're going to get some .html file, right? So we need to open that specific file by using nano command. So that is find space slash hyphen name star.html. So here, so this is the respective path, right? So just you can open this path by using nano command, right? So type nano space this respective path and go to h1 tag. So welcome to some East Linux machine. Okay, control S and control X. So same way we need to apply for this West Linux machine as well. So go to this West underscore West hyphen Linux machine. Go to networking. Add the respective security rule or in one port rule. Yellow all the ports. Click on add. So copy this IP address. Go to putty. Just paste it here. Click on open. Click on accept. So provide the username and password. So go to root user, right? So and after that need to type some nano command and try to open open this .html file. What happened? Sorry, I think we did not install this in Linux, right? Sudo apt update apt install in Linux-y. Right, untype some now, copy this .html file. So welcome to, this is best, right? Let's go. Control S and Control S. Okay. So now we need to create some two load balancers, right? So these are nothing but a basic load balancer. One is east-blb and one more thing is west-blb. So go to this load balancers, click on create. So select the resource group. So one is east-blb, basic load balancer, right? So we're going with some basic. Next, front-end IP, click on add front-end IP. So here Azure test, sorry, this is not Azure test, east blb hyphen f5, nothing but a front-end IP, right? Create new. So east blb hyphen pi, click on add, right? So next, backend pools, click on add backend pools. So this is east blb hyphen b pool, right? So virtual network is east underscore vnet associated to virtual machines. So basically here you're going to get respect to virtual machine. What are the virtual machine which we are having in this resource group followed by respect to virtual network. Okay, because we are going with the basic load balancer. If it is a standard, we are not able to get the respect to virtual machines, right? So these things we discussed on yesterday. So just click on add. Click on add once again. So next inbound rows, click on add load balancing rule, right? So here east uh, blb, east blb, right, hyphen lbr. So front end IP, select the respective front end IP, port 80, it also port 80, backend pool, create new health block. So that is east blb hyphen hp protocol http, click on OK, click on add. Okay, so next outbound roles. So we are unable to add some outbound roles, right, in the PLP. Next tags, next we can create. Finally, click on create. So basically, we need to create a one more load balancer. Meanwhile, we can do that. So click on create. So resource group is Azure Test, and this one is uh, West hyphen BLP basic load balancer. So in the region, I think the West US, right? Go with the basic. So next front end IP. Click on add front end IP. So this is West BLP hyphen FIP. Create new West BLP hyphen PIP. Click on OK. Click on add next backend goals. So this is West B4 hyphen sorry West BLP hyphen B4. So virtual network associated to virtual machines. Click on add. Click on add once again. Click on add once again. Next inbound roles. Click on add load balancing rule. So this is West BLB hyphen LBR. Choose the front end IP port 80 backend port 80 health group create new. So this is West B4 hyphen HB protocol HTTP. Click on OK. Click on OK. Click on add. So next outbound roles, next tags, next review and create. Finally click on create. So any dots till now, any of you? So here what we have done till now, so just we have created some resource group and we have created DNS zones. So and then we have created some uh, virtual networks, two different virtual networks for different regions, right? So and then we have created the virtual machines as well on two different regions. One is East US and one more thing is West US, and even we try to create some two load balancers for different regions as well, right? So these things we have checked. now if you go to this respective load balancers, see more. So this is, if you copy paste it here, so here this is West plan expression. So this is East plan expression, right? So once if this load balancers which you have created everything is fine and we're getting the respective Nginx welcome page, so like East Linux and West Linux machines, right? So now what we need to do is, so we need to disable the public IP address of the respective virtual machines, whether it is a East Linux machine or West Linux machine. So first I'm going with East Linux machine, go to this networking, right? Go to this East Linux machine 23, go to IP configurations, click on IP config 1, click on disassociate, click on save. So the same thing we need to apply for West Linux machine as well. Go to networking, click on it, see more, sorry, IP configurations, IP config 1, disassociate, click on save. So after that, right? So after disabling the respective public IP address of the respective virtual machines, so now go to this search bar. So type public IP addresses. Okay, type public IP addresses. Go to this East PLB PAP and West PLB hyphen PAP. So go to overview. Go to configurations. So here you can provide some DNS name, whatever the name you want. Okay. So it is related to some East US, right? Maybe some I can give ABC East. Same for this. Go to this West PLB hyphen PAP. Go to the settings. Go to configuration. configurations. So ABC West. Okay. So click on save here and also click on save here. So go to overview. So if you copy paste this one and paste it in any of these browsers, here is Linux machine. Same for West BRB-PAP. Copy paste this URL to any of these browsers. West Linux machine. Okay. So once these things is done, so we need to go to once again this Azure Cloud Search and type some Traffic Manager profiles. Okay, what we need to type? Traffic Manager profiles. Okay, so click on create. So I can give some name, maybe some ABC web. Okay, it should be unique basically. Okay, so here routing method. Here, this is the thing. I have given some weighted, right? Performance weighted, geographic, multi-value, subnet. So these things only just I mentioned in the definition. So if you're going with some weighted, so you can provide some value here. So where you're going to provide the value, I will update you. I will let you know. So just routing method as a weighted. So the subscription for you are going to get some detail. Resource group, select the respective resource group. Click on create. So is it created? Okay, so then click on this ABC web and go to endpoints. Click on add. Okay, so you can provide some name. Okay, maybe some uh, this is east, right? East hyphen ep, nothing but the endpoint. So target resource public IP address. No, we are not getting. Sorry, target resource type is public IP address. So this is east BLB, right? Select this one. So here I'm giving some weighted value as a 900. Okay, weighted value as a 900. So click on add. So let me create one more thing. So that is basically West hyphen EP. Target resource type is public IP address. So West BLP hyphen PAP. So here weighted value So by default it's taking 2, right? So just I'm taking 2 only. Click on add. So if you observe for this east hyphen EP, okay, so sorry, weighted value is 900 and one more thing is weighted value is 2. This is for west hyphen P, this is east hyphen P, basically. Okay, so now go to overview. So copy this URL. So just I'm pasting in the chat box. So can anyone access this one? So what you're going to get it? Any of you? Hello. So have I accessed it?
Yes, we are getting welcome to East Linux.
Yes. So we're getting some welcome to East Linux mission because of this weighted value. So here we are providing some weighted value as 900, right? So that is the reason it is giving highest preference for this East Linux mission for that specific region, basically. Okay. So let us edit this one. Go to this endpoints. Click on edit. So here I'm giving now maybe some 200, right? Click on save. West hyphen EP. So this thing just I'm giving some maybe some 500. Click on save. So now if you need sorry. So now if you access, so what you're going to get it here? Any of you? Hello. Here now we're going to get some West Linux mission. So that is based upon this respect to weighted values. Okay, based upon this respect to weighted values. So traffic based upon this respect to weighted values. So traffic will be distributed. So between the respect to virtual machines for different regions. If you observe here, both these virtual machines, what are the virtual machines which are created, pointing to different locations or different regions. So based upon this weighted value, this traffic will be routed. So is it fine? This concept, any dots here, any of you? Hello?
No doubt, sure. Fine.
So this is nothing but a traffic manager, basically. So we want to discuss about one more uh, concept called as VMSS. Virtual machine. So virtual machine scale set. Okay. So automatically creating and deleting the virtual machines. Okay, automatically creating and deleting the respective virtual machines. So how it is going to create and how it is going to delete automatically, so we need to discuss. So what is the main intention or what is the main purpose of virtual machine scale set is, so based upon some value, right? So automatically creation of virtual machines is going to happen, and automatically deletion of virtual machines is going to happen based on some value. So what that value we're going to discuss. But this is the definition. Okay. So on fly. So let us assume we are having some website, maybe some Amazon.in, right? So if something is increased, so we need to increase this virtual machines on fly without interfering or without what we call simply we can say that, so we need to scale in and scale out. Sorry, not scale, scale, not scale, scale in and scale out. Scale in means, so virtual machines we are increasing, scale out means we are decreasing the virtual machines for the respective website here, without disturbing the existing application or existing visitors. So if you go for Amazon.in, that is usual. Okay, so whenever if they are keeping some offers, right? So definitely on the offers time, so this Amazon.in, they are going to get huge number of customers or huge number of visitors for that specific point of time, maybe some 1 week or maybe some 10 days. So within the 10 days, right? So definitely these servers or with this whatever the virtual machine which they have hosted this respective web application, right? So they're going to get huge number of requests on any point of time. We don't know, maybe some morning or maybe some evening we're going to get huge number of customers. Like that we don't have anything, right? Any of that respective scenario. At any point of time we're going to get huge number of customers. But still Amazon need to handle or need to hold that respective customers, and they need to satisfy the respective requirements. So in types of products, different categories of products, so it can be anything, whatever the things which is covered by Amazon.in, right? So at any point of time, site should not be down or site should not be get some error or exception, something like that. So this need to be happen automatically, basically. So even if customers is increased, automatically it need to create the replications of the respective virtual machines of the respective whatever the web application which they had deployed here. And once if that visitors is, we don't have that many number of visitors at this point of time, right? Automatically at some point of time it should be automatically scale down the respective virtual machines here. So these things, basically this is the important concept in which they are going to implement most of these e-commerce sites or whatever the websites which is having some peak number of visitors at some point of time, right? So this is going to be happening basically. So if you observe even this banking sites, right? So every month at the beginning of the month, right? So I think tomorrow is the beginning of the month. So beginning of the 10 days, basically November 1st to November 10th. Within this 10 days, so definitely huge number of transactions is going to be happen between multiple banks. It can be some one bank to other bank, right? So definitely transactions going to happen between multiple banks. It can be anything. It can be loans or it can be some EMIs, anything basically. Between this first 10 days, so definitely huge number of transactions is going to be happen by different types of customers from the respective banks. But after that, we don't have that much of usage basically, right? So between these 10 days only, you're going to pay whether it is an EMIs or loans or maybe some electricity bill or maybe some rent or, so nowadays if you observe this electricity bill, these all these things, so we are paying online only by using some different apps. It can be some Paytm or Phone Pay or maybe some Amazon Pay. So many things we're having, right? Even insurance also we can pay by using these respective different types of payment apps. So within this 10 days, so definitely they're going to get huge number of customers, irrespective of e-commerce sites or irrespective of banking. So banking sites also, they're going to get huge number of customers as well, right? So if you want to increase, or I mean if you want to increase some virtual machines at some point of time, right? So we can implement this respective VMSS concept, virtual machine scale set. So how to implement practically? So we're going to discuss here. So is this concept is fine? So why why we are going, or what is the reason of, or what is exactly this VMSS? All of you, any doubts here? Any of you? Any doubts?
No doubt, sir.
So rule one: CPU usage greater than 60%. Right? Create two virtual machines. Rule two: CPU usage less than 30%. Delete two virtual machines. Okay, so if you observe, just I mentioned some value, right? So based upon some value, these machines is going to increase automatically, or this machines going to, I mean, this machines is going to delete it automatically, or scale down the respective virtual machines, right? So this is the CPU value. So what is that value means? CPU usage basically. So if my CPU usage is greater than 60%, right? So it will create automatically some virtual machines. So just here I have taken only two. So if you want whatever the number you want basically. So based upon that you need to pay the respective amount to the respective cloud vendors basically. So here my intention is whenever a particular CPU uses, I mean for the respective virtual machine, that is assume I have only one virtual machine. So for that virtual machine, I have got around it is increased some CPU usage around maybe some 70% or maybe some greater than 60%. So automatically it is going to create some virtual machines internally basically. Okay, and then if you go for this CPU is less than 30% or maybe some less than 25%, right? So delete whatever the virtual machines in which we created. So these things is going to be happen basically. So basically we need to configure these rules in VMSS. Okay, so and even so let us assume around some 940 CPU is greater than 60%. So at which point of time you want to increase? Means so around 940 this CPU is greater than 60%, right? From there onwards you can configure that respect to 10. Maybe some 5 minutes. So maybe around 9:45 I need to get some more virtual machines on flight, or maybe some around 5 minutes or around 10 minutes, or maybe some 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, so I need to get more virtual machine. So this time also you can configure. So once the CPU is greater than 60%, at which point of time these virtual machines need to create automatically, so that time also you can configure. So let us assume after 60% CPU usage for a particular virtual machine, so then around after that, I mean, if it is increased CPU is 940, around 945 this VMC is going to create automatically. So like that you can, if you want, you can configure that things. So that time also you can configure. So what I mean to say is that time also you can configure. So if it is increased around some 10 a.m., right? So around 10:15 a.m. these VMs need to be created automatically within the respective Azure cloud. So like that you can configure as well. So that time is also it is a configurable value. So you can mention some amount of time. It can be say 5 minutes or 10 minutes, something like that. Okay. So is it fine, all of you till now? So, so we will have a break. So we will meet at So session will be there basically. So I will not stop the recording, and as well as I will not stop this screen share. So we'll meet at 10 a.m. Okay. So, are you getting my voice and as well as my screen, all of you?
Yes, sure, we are getting the voice.
So now, if you want to implement this concept, right, practically. So basically, if you want to create some virtual machines, right? So how we are creating? So we are selecting some image. So it can be related to some Windows operating system. So that image can be, or if you go to some Linux operating system, we're having some different images like Ubuntu, CentOS, we're having different flavors, right? So and after that, we are choosing some size as well, right? Size means so how much amount of CPU required or how much amount of RAM or data disks, how many number of disks you want. These things also we are selecting. So within the virtual machine while creating the virtual machines, right? So here instead of go this if you observe these Windows related images or maybe some Linux related images, these these are the already predefined images, so which is available within the Azure cloud. Okay, these are already available images basically, which is provided by Azure cloud itself. But here we are not utilizing or we are not using any of these images. So we are creating our own image, or simply we can say that our own operating system. So by using a third party tool called as an or third party software called as an Packer, which is provided by HashiCorp. Okay, so HashiCorp is a some organization, so some innovative and product based company or product based organization. So basically, so they are not only this packer. So basically, they are going to provide n number of softwares to different cloud vendors. Means so how this software any product like so if you go for this cloud or cloud vendors like Microsoft or Amazon or maybe some Google, so many we have cloud vendors. So this is a one innovative idea or innovative thinking, so which came into exist around some 5 to 8 years back. Before that we don't have cloud, and even we don't have Google Drive as well. Google Drive is the best example for cloud as well, right? As you know already. So this innovative idea, whatever the innovative idea they have got it, and they have implemented successfully as well in different. It can be on different services. So maybe if you observe Google Drive, we're using basically we are storing some documents and we are storing our photos or different types of videos, right? What are the videos or videos of means memories of your videos. So like this, that is a one thing, right? But if you go for Azure Cloud point of view, they are providing some services, so which related to software organization, and even Google is also having some GCP, Google Cloud Computing platform as well. So they have implemented. I mean, whatever the cloud vendors, if you observe, so they have implemented very what we call they have implemented very nicely. Simply, we can say that. Okay, somewhat they have implemented so much of achievement they have done implementing of this respect to innovative idea. So once they have implemented or once they have developed the product at some point of time, right? So this product, if you observe this Azure Cloud, right? So this Azure Cloud product is going to, is going to investigate or is going to done some R&D on that, not by Microsoft, by different organizations or different startups. Means how can we improve further? It can be some performance or robustness, or maybe can we add some feature on this? So is it possible or not? So these things is going to be analyzed by some third party organization. So like one of the organization is HashiCorp. Okay, basically nowadays, if you observe nowadays, last 6 months to 1 year, you're listening. You're hearing some keywords called as an maybe some Packer or maybe some Terraform, Kubernetes. So if you observe these keywords, basically last 6 months to 1 year, you're listening. So purely these services is not offered by either Azure or maybe some Amazon or maybe some GCP. Okay, these are the services, or these are the what we call these services which is offered by HashiCorp. So what they have done is they are doing so much of R&D or so much of analysis on these existing cloud platforms. What are the cloud? Cloud platforms is we have so many cloud platforms, but out of the they will take some top 3 to 5 top vendors basically. So can we add some service to them so that it should be benefit to the respect to cloud vendors organizations. So like one of the software is Packer. So it is benefited to the respect to organizations as well. Okay, so they will not this whatever the HashiCorp organization is there. Basically, if you go to Google, just type some HashiCorp. So this Terraform is one service. Okay, so this HashiCorp stack is one service, but currently we are not listening in the market. Maybe in future it may be a demand service. So Terraform you are already listening, right? So in this respect to different forms. So like that they are providing so many services basically. Okay. So our partners, so majorly Microsoft, AWS, Google Cloud, basically. Okay. So what this HashiCorp is doing is they're adding some more services or some more. It can be a once if we added these services to this any of these cloud platforms, so definitely it may improve some performance or maybe some robustness, scaling the existing application. There is chances is there. So definitely once if this feature is added to the existing applications or existing cloud vendors, so if they are satisfied, maybe some Azure is satisfied with the services, what are the services which is offered by some HashiCorp, right? So even Microsoft need to pay some amount to the HashiCorp. Then only they're going to provide some service, right? So even AWS as well. So because their product, whatever the product which is already having, if you go with some AWS, already they're having their own product in the market. Now HashiCorp what is doing? It is improving the application or improving the existing product, whatever the product which is having with AWS, right? They're improving whether it is a performance or whether it is a scalability, whether it is a robustness. So once if we integrate the HashiCorp service with the AWS, so AWS is performing very well means when compared to when compared to maybe some last 2 years back. Now if we integrate with some HashiCorp service, AWS is performing well. So like that, if we got some improvement in the existing product, so definitely AWS need to pay some amount to the HashiCorp. So they are having some terms and conditions, these all these things here. So not only cloud. So what are the software which are getting in our software market? So definitely so much of things is going to happen at back end basically. So like big data. So big data is the it is also a very good innovative idea, which is basically first this idea came from Google basically. Okay, so they want to store some what we call irrespective of structured data. Means irrespective of structure means So basically, if you observe, we are having some different types of data like a structured, unstructured, semi-structured. So nowadays, because whether it can be a revolution in maybe in internet or maybe revolution in smartphones, right? Because of this, we are getting tons of data daily on daily basis. Okay, so if you observe your mobile itself daily, even whatever the memories you have taken, whether it is the families or friends, so your phone itself is not sufficient to store the whatever the data which you have created by you. It can be a forms of photos, or it can be forms of images, or it can be some video files, it can be anything basically. Alright, so here the intention is that before some around 14 to 15 years back, so we are able to store only structured data. Means structured data means rows and columns, generally which we are going to store by using MySQL or Oracle databases. Okay, simply you can say that transaction, bank transaction, one single transaction is nothing but a structured data, simple. Now the problem is we are unable to store unstructured data. Means we are unable to store PDF files, or it can be some images or voice recognition or voice files, what we can say that, right? So like that, this is whole, if you observe this whole data is nothing but unstructured data. So nowadays, instead of structured data, 70% or 80% of data is unstructured only. Okay, out of 100%, 80% of data is unstructured only, right? But nowadays, now they are processing as well, and even we are getting the respective response. Best example, best case study is if you go to Google, right? So if you observe around whoever accessing some internet around maybe some 6 to 7 years back, if you type some keyboard, right? If you type some maybe some what we call Sachin Tendulkar, let us assume. Okay, if you type some Sachin Tendulkar, just you are going to get only websites or maybe some Wikipedia. That's it. But if you type today, right, whatever the recent visits which has happened, maybe some if he went to some cricket related functions or cricket related stadiums, if he's went something, right. So these all these things nowadays we're getting some videos as well within the Google search. We're getting the latest images of him or latest videos, and then we're going to get some websites. These things is not happened around some 5 to 6 years back, or even maybe some 10 years back. Basically, you're going to get only websites. I mean, less than 5 years before, 5 to 10 years back. Nowadays, it is happened because of this big data concept. So, like cloud, big data is a one more innovative idea. So, like that, we have so many ideas is there. So, once they got it idea, they converted that idea into the product, or what we can say that some technology. Cloud is a technology. Big data is a technology. Right. So like that, even big data, once if they came into market, so it is not grown rapidly. So there first of all, this big data is came from some Apache organization. So most of thing, if you are working in a real-time employees, so they are already aware about this Apache organization, which is a open source organization which is having n number of products basically. Okay, so even as a end user, you can download any of the product and you can apply your code, or you can add your ideas to the respective products. So like that, this existing product is going to develop further. Okay, so if you observe big data point of view, major vendors at that point of time, two competitors, one is Cloudera and one more thing is Hortonworks. So these are the two organizations, two initial startup companies which improved so much of so much of futures or so much of innovative ideas on the existing big data technology. So like that, Cloudera and Hortonworks, these are the two companies. Like that, in cloud point of view, this HashiCorp is the one organization in which they are adding new services on the existing products like Microsoft Azure or maybe some AWS, something like that. Okay, so if you observe, so here mostly you're going to get Cloudera, Hadoop. Okay, so see here, Cloudera data platform. Data is nothing but today's. That is whatever if you're having some tons of data. Data is nothing but today's business. Data is a new oil. Simply we can say that, right? Everybody, whether it is a e-commerce or whether it is a food apps, what are the things, right? Everybody is playing with the data only. Okay, this is a Cloudera basically. It is a database related company. Okay, so and I mentioned some Hortonworks as well. So basically, around some 3 to 4 years back, Hortonworks is acquired by some Cloudera organization as well. That is another thing basically. Okay, so like that basically. Not only this Hadoop or even this HashiCorp. I mean, even if you go with some data science or artificial intelligence or machine learning. So these are the very latest and cutting edge technologies. So which is growing very rapidly basically. Okay, in our day to day life as well. Already these machine learning, these all things are implemented, but we don't know actually basically. Okay, so this AI machine learning, they're having some more companies here, some third party organizations is there, in which they are improving the existing services on the existing product. So like that, not only AI machine learning, so many innovative technologies are coming. So definitely some organization they're going to develop something, and some more third party organizations, so they're going to provide some research on it, whether they're going to provide any extra service. So these all these things to happen. uh, it will not be happen at one day basically. It will take some years of time to enhance the existing product. So here in cloud point of view, we're having some HashiCorp basically. Okay, so now, as I mentioned you, so it is having one software called as a packet basically. So it is a tool by HashiCorp. This is some information related to HashiCorp basically. So what it is doing, so how this software uh, products like cloud is a one product, big data is a one product, artificial intelligence is a one product. So it can be provided by any organization, not only Microsoft, it can be provided by n number of organizations basically. So this product is going to enhance something, they enhance some services on the existing product by some third party organizations. So many organizations is there basically, not only HTTP, so many organizations is there, which they are going to provide some services to enhance the existing product or a web application, what are the application which they have deployed, which they have created basically. Okay, so now here we need to create, so it is out of context. So as I mentioned you, we need to create our own image basically. Okay, that is how it is possible, by using some packer software which is provided by HashiCorp. Packer, it is a tool by HashiCorp. Okay, it is a tool by HashiCorp.
Shiva,
Yes.
uh, is there any other tools to perform the same task like Packer?
Another tools means
Like Packer, do you have any other tools to perform the
from,
own or
no, from you mean from HashiCorp?
no, any other thing, any other website?
No, no. I mean, maybe we're having some different organizations or different, like HashiCorp, we're having some different organizations here there. But first of all, it need to approve by these cloud vendors. Then only it is going to come into exist. Okay.
Okay.
Even HashiCorp created some packer software, so definitely Microsoft need to follow. Means they will not follow basically. Okay. So once they have given some tool, so they need to provide some presentation to this Microsoft top managers or top directors here. So then if they are satisfied, so then this Azure, where they're going to provide some URL to them, so where you can test their existing software on the Azure cloud. So if they're satisfied, then agreement come into picture basically. So if you observe this Microsoft, AWS, and even Google, right? So daily some thousands of companies they're going to provide so many of presentations to the respect to product based companies like Google, Amazon. Basically these are the competitors, right? Basically so many of things is going to happen back end basically. Okay, so first of all they need to impress, so then only this some organization going to get some revenue from these respective companies. Okay, but currently as of now HashiCorp is the one organization which is already which is already what are the services which is provided by HashiCorp already utilized by these top three cloud vendors. Okay, like Amazon and Amazon, Azure, and the GCP. But having remaining things is a cloud vendors like Salesforce is a one more cloud basically, and ServiceNow is also one more cloud. They're also having a good market, but not not this much. I mean, like Azure or maybe some AWS like Google. So ServiceNow is one more cloud vendor basically, and Salesforce is one more thing, and I think one more cloud is there. So many of clouds is there basically. But if you observe some top 5 to 6, these will be there basically. Got it?
Thanks, sir. Thanks, sir. I got it.
Even this big data, this is the out of context of Azure. But to give some information, how this on the existing application, how this product will go further. So how these things is happening in software market or software organizations. Just I given some overview. Okay, so basically first of all you are going to get some product, some innovative product in a market. It can be developed by any organization basically. So if you want to enhance some services or enhance the existing application, so it definitely, if you observe the Azure, so definitely Microsoft is going to provide so much of services, so much of new services which is going to be added on fly within this Azure cloud. So definitely Microsoft is going to support because their product only, right? Basically, so definitely they want to develop so many of services within this Azure cloud. Apart from that, if some organization is providing some more services which will be benefit for this Azure cloud, so definitely Microsoft will be tie up with that respective organizations. Okay, so end goal is basically whatever the Azure cloud which is utilized by any of the organizations. It can be MNCs or middle based companies or startups. So many of organizations is there throughout the world, right? So whoever utilizing this Azure cloud, they need to be benefited from the uh, it can be some infrastructure point of view, or it can be scalability of the application, or if you want to improve some robustness of the existing applications, so they need to benefit. So finally these clients, so Microsoft point of view, maybe some Tech Mahindra may be client to Microsoft, right? Or maybe some Infosys is client to Microsoft. So these are the so many things is going to be happen in the industry basically. So just to go to provide some value what is going on, just I have given some information. Okay, this is out of context basically. So we need to create some resource group. Okay, so this thing is not created. So just log into portal.azure.com. So just try to create some resource group. So whatever the name it can be, and just try to create some reason. These are all these things, you know. So then we will try to create some image by using this Packer software. Okay, so how to do that we will discuss. So I think already we are having some resource groups, right? I forgot to delete. Okay, so just try to create some. So also test one in East US. Finally click on create. Okay, so now go to Packer software. Okay, so go to this downloads. So here depends upon your OS. So just download this package software. So one more point I forgot to tell you. Here one advantage with whatever the softwares which are going to get from HashiCrop. So let us assume if you want to install some VLC media player in your respective system. Generally what we are doing, we are going to Google and we download the latest software, and once it is downloaded in downloads folder, so just we are going to install. I mean just we right click on it, so we're going to open or run as administrator. So basically we're going to install, right? Basically, but in HashiCrop point of view, once if you the software is itself is available within your laptop, so here we don't have any separate installation, it is automatically is installed. So like that they have designed that respective software. You got my point? So once if you're having some Packer software, so currently if you observe here, this is Packer hyphen one point something dot zip file. So this is not yet installed. If you got some dot exe file from this respective zip file, so once if you extract from some software from this respective zip file, so we don't have any separate installation. Already Packer software is itself it is installed in your respective laptop here. Okay, so there is a one more thing. So just I'm trying to create some packer folder here. So where it is. So extract here. See here, this is if you observe these properties. This is application .exe file, right? So once if you got this type of file, so automatically software is installed within your respective laptop. So generally what we're doing, we are right clicking and we are clicking on either open as a run as administrator. So again you're going to get some pop-ups, so where you need to select maybe some, if it is having some agreement terms and conditions, we need to accept, or we need to click on next and we need to choose some different options. So these things we don't have in the packer point of view. Okay, and even once if you done these things, so even you can go to command prompt basically. So within this command prompt you can type, so I mean you can cross check it whether the packer is installed or not. Sorry, that is packer hyphen version. See here, so we're getting some version means packer software is installed successfully in your operating system. Okay, this is the way how to install. It is a very simple, nothing complex, right? So there is a one thing which I have done, which we required. So Packer software is required if you want to create our own image. So that thing we have done. And one more thing is, so we required some Visual Studio IDE. We required Visual Studio IDE. Go to Google and type Visual Studio download, Visual Studio Code download. So it is again from Microsoft basically. So just you simply click on download. So automatically it will download based upon your operating system, including bit, whether it is a 32-bit or 64-bit. Based upon that, it is going to download automatically. Okay, so even otherwise you can choose it from here as well. So whenever once if you hit this website, based upon your respective laptop or respective these things they are taking on like basically. So which type of operating system you're using, which type of bit, whether it is 32-bit or 64 you are using. So you can simply click on download. So it will download. If it is a Windows means it will download only Windows. If it is a Linux means it will download only Linux. So like that they have designed this respective site here basically. Okay, not only this one, even if you observe so many sites now they are implementing this new feature. So basically previously we need to go to the site and we need to choose the respective operating system and respective bit and we need to download. So previously we don't have this download button. Nowadays this is a new feature. Okay, like that. So just you download it basically and try to install this Visual Studio. It is very simple to install, nothing complex basically. Okay, so there is a one more thing. So currently I already having some Visual Studio. Just I'm opening this app and then so type a keyword within this Google. So that is create VM using Packer. So just I'm copying this piece of code and I am pasting into Visual Studio. Go to file, new file, paste it here. So first of all, if you observe this piece of code, so this is which format here? JSON. Nothing but this code is related to JSON, JavaScript object notation. So if you observe any JSON format, so it is falls under open braces and close braces as well. So like this basically. Okay, that is the one thing. And here if you observe, they have given four things. I mean they required client ID, client secret, tenant ID and subscription ID. So how to get this client ID, client secret, tenant ID, subscription ID from this Azure cloud account we are going to discuss basically. Okay, so why they're going to take these credentials from us is first of all they need to authenticate our Azure cloud account. So to enhance the some security, these all these things they have considering four things. Okay, subscription ID is sufficient to log into Azure cloud account, but irrespective of that they are taking some client ID, client secret, client secret, tenant ID and subscription ID earlier. So this once if these four things they have matched, okay, they will so that they can authenticate our respective Azure cloud account based upon the subscription ID, so that it is going to create customized image, our own image. Okay. So then you can give some resource group. What are the resource group which you have created already, and what is our image name, operating system name. So managed image name is you can give some name, maybe some user defined OS or maybe some Azure OS, some name. Okay. So what type of operating system it is creating, inbuilt or at backend. So OS type is Linux, right? So canonical, Ubuntu server and some version. So simply we can say that so Packer is going to create some image, our own image or whatever the image name we are providing here. So some image name it is going to be created within the Azure cloud account because of these four things. So once if it is authenticated, so then which type of operating system is going to create here? Nothing but a Linux. Okay, so once if this authentication everything is done, so it is going to create some image. So on which type of operating system? Linux type of operating system. So then Azure tags if you want you can provide, and location, in which location is creating here? East US, and VM size nothing but standard underscore bs2 underscore v2. Though this VM size is nothing but, so even whenever while creating our virtual machine also we are configuring, right, how many number of I mean how much amount of RAM required or how many number of hard disk you required, these all these things, right? Even they are giving some name as well, so they have given some name. That's it. And here one more thing is, whenever this image creation is going on, backend it is trying to install Nginx server as well. So generally, once you've created some virtual machine, once if you able to access that respective virtual machine by using putty software, then only we trying to install some Linux server basically, right? But here, if you observe within this JSON code, so while creation, I mean while operating system creation is going on, so at the same time it is trying to installing or it is going to install Linux server as well because of these three predefined commands. So this is a piece of code basically. So now first of all we need to get these four things, right? So how to get this four things? So first of all you need to go to the Azure cloud account based upon your respective credentials, what are the credentials you're having. So go to home, go to Azure Active Directory, click on app registrations, click on new registration. So I'm giving some maybe some user registration something. So this name is not a constant, you can give any name. Okay, click on register. So here now we have got it some client ID, copy paste it here, and then tenant ID, copy this tenant ID. So then we need to have some client secret as well, right? So for this, go to the certificates and secrets. So click on new client secret. So you can give some user secret, something like this. Click on add. So copy this value. Where is it? Paste it here. Okay. So we have got client ID, client secret, and tenant ID. So we need to get some subscription ID, right? So for this, go to home. So type subscription. So this is my subscription ID, right? Copy this one and paste it here. Okay. So go to access control. Once these things is done, go to access control. Click on add role assignment. Click on contributor. Click on next. Okay, so here we have created some user registration ID in Azure Active Directory of app registrations, right? So you need to get that respect to registration ID here. So type here user. See here, this is the select this one. Click on select and click on next. Click on review plus assign. Okay, so these things is done. And here, what is our resource group name which we have created already? Go to home, resource groups, Azure test one, right? So just copy this one and paste it here. So I am giving some name Azure One OS, something like this. Okay. So That's it. So try to save this file. So go to Packer, maybe some new OS. So save as type. So compulsory we need to save as type as a JSON, because so it is JSON code basically. Okay, so it is a JSON code. That is the way we save. So just click on save. Okay, so once if it is saved, so just we need to execute this JSON, right? Or just we need to uh, deploy, or just we need to execute this piece of code, whatever the JSON which you have created. So for this, we're having a predefined command called as an packer build, followed by your JSON file name, that is new os.json, like this. Okay, so now our intention is whatever the JSON file which you have created, so that JSON file we need to execute, or we need to deploy this file. So in order to get our own image, so for this we are having a predefined command called as a packer space build space new os.json. Click on enter. So it will take some time basically. So it is created, right? Why step is Linux Azure test one Azure One OS. So whether it is created or not, just we can cross check it here. Go to portal.azure.com. So go to virtual machines. Already we have create a virtual machine. So if you go to this see all images, go to my images. So this is the image, right? This is the same name we have given within this JSON file, right? So now this is our own image which are created by using Packer software. Okay. So once these things is done, give me 1 minute. Okay, it will not delete. So now once this OS creation is done, right? So go to here, type VMSS, virtual machine scale set. So click on create. So provide select the resource group, that is nothing but Azure test one. So some name, maybe some Azure test VMSS. Okay. So is to us. So images, right? Uh, see all images. Go to my images. Select this OS. See here, if you observe this size here. So what is the size we are having? This is the same size, right? Still it is loading. It will take some time. So go with password. So just I'm giving some username and password. So Shiva one. So click on next disks. Go with standard SSD. Next networking. So here we required virtual network. So we are trying to delete east hyphen VNet, right? So try to create some virtual network. So basically in networking it requires some virtual network. So that is the reason we are trying to create some virtual network. So just it is a matter of 1 minute. So select the resource group Azure test one. Azure test hyphen VNet. Next disks. Next add subnet. Click on add. Next security. So already taken. Okay, we are deleting that one, right? Next security. Next tags. Next you can create. Finally click on create. So again we need to come from initial onwards. So try to provide resource group Azure test one. So Azure test -VMSS. Sorry, underscore hyphen. So is2s. Select your own image. So provide with password. Next disks. Standard SSD. Next networking. Choose here Azure test underscore VNet, right? Select this load balancing by default. Okay, so here whenever if you're clicking on this load balancer, right? If you check this load balancer, so by default Azure cloud itself it is going to provide some default load balancers here. Okay, you no need to create explicitly. So in which we have created in either basic load balancer or standard load balancer or even some traffic manager. So we have created explicitly basically. So you no need to create. So once if you check in this use load balancer, right? So Azure cloud itself it is going to create some default load balancers at backend while creation of this virtual machine scales. So next scaling. So here I have configured some rules, right? So if my CPU is getting 60%, create two virtual machines. These all these things here you can configure here basically. Okay. So here initial instance count. So you can give some 2 or 1. It depends upon you. So go to custom. So I'm giving with initial count, initial instance count as a 2. So minimum number of instance 1, maximum 2. So CPU threshold also. So here I'm giving some 60. So once if it is crossed 60%, so when these VMs need to create, how much amount of time is required or at which point of time it is going to create. So just I'm going with very less time, maybe some 3 minutes. Sorry, it is taking 5. Okay, so you need to provide some 5 minutes. Means once if the CPU is greater than 60%, right? Let us assume some 11 a.m. So around 11:05 a.m. this automatically machines is going to create. I mean, which machines is going to create automatically basically. Okay, so that is these things here basically. Number of instance increased by maybe you can provide some 2 instance. It is going to create automatically. So here second rule is 30%, right? Less than 30%. number of instances to decrease it by, maybe you can go with some one. So this, what are the rules which are discussed in theory point of view? These rules we are providing in scaling option basically. Okay. So next management, click on disable, next health, next advanced, next tax, next we can create, finally click on create. So if you observe this VMSS, it is almost similar how we are creating normal virtual machine, but it is having some scaling option. Okay, that is the only major difference, except that, so generally how we are creating some virtual machine, in the same way we have created VMSS as well. But here only major difference is we have created our own image, and even while creating VMSS, so we have selected the respective image, whatever the image which are created basically. Okay, so once this VMS is created, so just go to this networking and we need to provide this inbound port rule, or I mean we need to provide some security rule, right? So then here also it is going to get some IP address basically, because already if you observe already within this JSON, so it is inbuilt, it is installing some Nginx server, right? So automatically, I mean once this VMSS is deployment is success, so you're going to get some IP address. Once you copy paste that IP address in any of the browser, by default you're going to get some Nginx welcome page, because within this JSON they already included. That is the reason. So we no need to install separately basically. Okay, so it is done. Go to home, go to VMSS, click on it. So copy this public IP and paste it here. Sorry, we did not provided this networking, right? That is the reason. Go to here. Click on add. So can somebody will access? Try to access this one. I hope you're going to get some Nginx. So here we're going to get it. Right? Welcome to Nginx. Because of this piece of code. Okay. So generally, how we are accessing these virtual machines? By using putty, right? So here also just we try to access this VMSS by using putty. See here, are we able to access basically? So you are not able to access. So the thing is, if you want to access this VMSS, this is the not the process. For this, go to this load balancers. Click on, this is the default load balancer which is created by Azure cloud itself. Go to inbound NAT rules. See here, this is nothing but a IP address. So if you observe, this is the same IP address here, right? This is the same IP we are having, right? So here this front end port. So by default it is created two. Okay, so I mean two load balancers is created or two VMs it is created. Okay, so if you observe instance 0, instance 1, but they are having the same IP address only if you observe. Okay, so why we are getting by default 2 here? So we are giving initial instance count as a 2 while configuring in the scaling options of VMSS. If you are giving some 1, we are going to get 1 here basically. Okay, so and this front end port, this is nothing but we discussed in firewall concept dynamic ranges basically or dynamic port ranges. If you observe dynamic port ranges, what are the ranges here basically? Dynamic port ranges. So this is a specific range, right? This is nothing but dynamic ports. So why we need to go for dynamic ports? We discussed in firewall, right? So this front end port is nothing but a dynamic port. So now we need to provide this front end IP, and then even we need to provide this front end port. Then only we are able to access this VMSS. So go to putty, provide host name, and what is the port number? Nothing but 50,000. Click on open. See here? Now we are going to get it. Provide the username and password. See, we are able to access, right? Basically. So this is the way if you want to access this VMSS, you need to provide the front end IP and this respect to dynamic port range. What I mean to say. Okay. So now, as I mentioned you, so when this concept is going to scale up the whether the virtual machines are scaled on the virtual machines here basically whenever the CPU uses, right? So here currently we don't have any website which is hosted in this respective machines, or we are unable to get that many of. I mean, we are not able to get a real-time visitors or real-time customers, right? Currently, so for this, what we are doing is we are sending or we are increasing the CPU load greater than 60%. So one of the CPU is greater than 60%, whether the VMs is creating or not. So we are sending, simply we can say that we are explicitly increasing the CPU usage by using a tool called as a stress tool. By using this tool, automatically CPU usage is going to increase so that whether the VMs is creating or not, so practically, so we can see that. Okay, whether the VMS is working as we expected or not, whether the whatever the service which you create within the Azure cloud, it is working as we expected or not. Okay, so this practically we are going to get some awareness. Okay, so for this, first of all, we need to go to some root user and we need to install some stress tool basically. Okay, so how you install some in Linux? Same way, nothing difference. Okay, currently I'm in root user. Just type some apt update -y. So just I'm taking some updates. Then apt install stress -y. Okay. So now apt install stress. Okay, -y. So why we install this stress tool? Just we are explicitly increasing the CPU usage. So once if the CPU usage is increased, so definitely if it is greater than 60%, so here this VMs it need to be create automatically. Okay, so just I am duplicating this session as well. So now here if you want to send some CPU usage or if you want to increase the CPU usage, right? So for this we are having a predefined command called as stress hyphen CPU. So how much I want to increase? Maybe some 80% hyphen. timeout, maybe some 20 minutes. Click on enter. See here? So now is going to increase the CPU. So whether the CPU is increasing or not, you can cross check it in another putty console, that is by using a predefined command called as uptime. So here currently it is 17.94 only. So slowly it is going to increase this is nothing but a CPU usage basically. Okay, 22.81, 31. So once if it is reached some 60%, right? So once if it is some 60%, it need to create some virtual machines here basically. Okay, and even once if it reaches some 60%, it will not create uh, automatically basically. It requires some time. The time also we have configured as a 5 minutes, right? I mean we need to wait at least 5 minutes once the CPU usage reaches some, or once if the CPU usage is greater than 60%, then only here it is going to create some VMs automatically. So just uptime one more time, 55 currently, 59. So here now it is greater than 60, around some 11:09 a.m. That is assume. Okay, 11:08 is already done. 11:09 a.m. is around 60, greater than 60%. Means it tried to create some new VMs around some 11:14 or 11:15 onwards. It is trying to create some new VMs. So here within this respective in one NAT rules, it is trying to create here. Okay, so just we need to wait for another 5 minutes from now. Okay, so meanwhile if you are having any doubts any of you, so you can ask me. So we are having some 5 minutes of time now. So till now it is fine. Any doubts any of you? Hello.
No doubts, boss.
Are you getting the concept first of all of you?
Yes,
what
boss.
what we're doing and what we're achieving practically, these all these things. So just wait for it requires some another 10 minutes to end the session. Okay, just another 10 minutes. So that we can complete this VMSS concept as well. So it will require some 10 to 15 minutes from now. See here, it is started creating some virtual machines automatically. So it requires some more time to create VMs basically. See here, it is increased, right? It is added two more instances on fly because of the CPU usage is greater than 60%. So now one more rule is even when if it is less than 30%, it need to delete as well, right? So just I'm typing Control C here. So now CPU usage is going to decrease drastically. Here 73, and here also we need to wait some 5 more minutes. So once if you wait some 5 more minutes from now, so these whatever VMs which it is created automatically, right? These VMs it is going to delete automatically as well. But we need to wait for 5 more minutes from now. So here 48. If it is less than 30%, these VMs it should be deleted automatically, right? That is the rule which I have configured in the scaling options of VMSS. So just we need to wait some more time basically. So it is less than 30%, right? So it will start to deleting these VMs, but we need to wait for 3 more minutes from now. It will not delete until 5 minutes. We need to wait. Okay. Okay, basically this is the concept of VMSS here. Okay, how to implement VMSS, what is VMSS, these all these things. So any doubts till now, any of you, whether it's yesterday's session or today's session? I mean load balancers or maybe some traffic manager TNS zones on this VMSS. So if anybody is having some doubts, let me know. Still we're having 2 more minutes. So yesterday you have got some Google Drive link, right? So in the same link itself, you're going to have this video. So just check it maybe some after 1 to 2 hours from now. Okay. I think even yesterday, one good thing is within the Skype itself that video is available. If you observe on the Skype chat, maybe today, maybe it will be available or may not. We don't know exactly. Anyway, so I recorded this video at backend as well. Not a issue for us. And once if this video is converted to some MP3 format or MP4, we'll upload this video to Google Drive. So where you're able to access this, whether it is an images or maybe some any text related these things, these all these things. Simply we can say that. Okay. So just refresh it here. Still, it is not that deleted. We need to wait 1 more minute from now. It is taking some more time. So basically, deleting it will take some extra time as well. It will not exactly 5 minutes. Okay, so basically it will delete. So that's all for today, all of you. No doubts, right? Okay, so it will delete. So that thing just you can check it whenever you're doing this same concept within the Azure cloud. I mean practically. Okay, you can check it both this rule 1 and rule 2 as well. Okay, so definitely it will delete this VMs. What are the VMs in which it is created? If you observe this 234, it is created basically, right? This 234 VMs, it is going to be deleted automatically because of this rule 2 we have configured, right? That is the reason. That is the thing. So that's all for today, all of you. So if anybody is having any doubts, it is open for you. You can ask it right now. So if you don't have any doubts, we can end this session this year. We can end this session. We can adjourn for today. So any doubts? Swati, Imran, Jagdish, no doubts? Swati, Imran, Jagdish, whoever. No? Okay. So thanks for your patience. So that's all for today. Bye for the day.